Hello, and welcome to POV with S-DEE. Now, for clarity purposes, POV simply is an acronym for point of view. Now here, style, purpose, character, and culture meet honest conversation. My name is S-DEE, and I'm your host. Now, this is the very first episode where I will be having a guest on the podcast. And so it means very much to me. This is a very special episode to me. My guest today is, if I can use the word, an enigma, right? This is someone I can say is my mentor. Now, those who know me very well know that there are two words that I don't just throw around in public: mentor and friend. So when I say this is my mentor, it goes deep, right? A big brother, confident, special advisor, just everything that a man can be to another man legally. Ladies and gentlemen, I have with me author, master of ceremonies par excellence. Now I think he's delved into thought leadership and just a very, very wonderful gentleman, someone that I hold in high esteem. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to POV with S-DEE, the one, the only, Mr. Teju Babyface Oyelakin. Pops.
You are too kind.
Pops.
Hey, you are too kind.
I've always wanted to do this in public, and it's to actually look you in the eye and say thank you for all that you have done for me. Now, there was a time in my life when, I was a lot younger when I had just met you, and I would tell you that my parents just sent me to you, that for some reason they just asked me to tell you thank you. Do you remember? I used to tell you that, and you'd be like, your parents are very, very, very wise people. And I didn't really understand the depth then until, this season of my life where I look back and I see some of the things that we've had to do together. What the part that you have played in my career, how you took me in, how you believed that I was that young lad that deserved all of the attention that you gave me. You put me on TV. I traveled to SA, South Africa, for my post-grad, and I remember how you would send me money to sometimes pay for the rest of my fees, sometimes to pay for accommodation, and just out of the blues, I would need help and I would ask you, and there has never been a time that you have told me, next time. Every time that I've asked for help, you have been gracious enough to help me. More than 80% of what I know as relates to communication, being a master of ceremonies, just having that spirit of excellence and wanting to do things right, I literally learned by watching you. And I've always wanted to be able to say this to the world, that from the depth of my heart, I appreciate all that you have done for me. So, Pops, thank you.
I literally can die now. I can die now and they can just play this at my funeral and people will know what kind of man I was supposed to have been. Thank you.
I'm glad that I was able to get that off my chest, because that probably was the reason I didn't have to think twice about it when you called me while I was in SA, because I'd finished my program and I had got a job with this multinational ad agency, and it looked like I had my future planned. Things started to look like I wouldn't suffer in life. And then you called and you said, hey, there's this show that we're working on, and I think it would be a good idea for you to come. And I just thought of all that you had done. I thought that you deserved that I gave it a shot. Just because you called, I responded. And then I came to Nigeria to join the Teju Babyface Show. So here's my question. What did I ever do to you that was so unforgivable that made you think, this suffering that I'm suffering on this Teju Babyface Show, I cannot do it alone. Who will join me? And then, why did you think that I deserved to come and suffer with you?
Well, it is. One shall chase 1,000 shoes that chase 10,000. So if one is suffering 1,000.
Did I ever tell you I wanted to chase
No, it's
1,000 or 10,000?
But I just figured the flip side was if one is suffering 1,000, then two shall suffer 10,000. I look. So it was this thing. So I was in this state of mind where we're going to build this mighty thing that was going to rival the biggest shows in the world. And so I saw the future. We're going to do even more than Steve Harvey was doing, and all of those. And so that's what birthed the Teju Babyface Show and helped us to do the things that we did over the years. So at the time I was telling you to come, right? I had no doubt in my mind that we're not only going to be the biggest show in Nigeria, we're going to be the biggest show in Africa. Yeah, so I didn't quite see the suffering as suffering really. I just thought it was concomitant with, the vision of what we're trying to do, as it were. But the realities of doing creative work in Nigeria, especially if you're trying to be, if you're deluded enough, if you're deluded enough to believe in pure honesty, which is one of the mistakes of the religious teachings we've received. Pure honesty. People who've never done business, who have no idea how business is done, stand behind the pulpit and tell you how to run businesses and make dualistic statements and pronunciations and tell you stuff like don't ever give a bribe. And it's that or nothing. They make it black and white. Don't ever give a bribe. And yet here you are operating in a corrupt environment, and their understanding of business is to tell you that don't worry, God will do it. You don't give a bribe, God will sort you out. If you've ever done business in a corrupt environment, it doesn't work that way. You must be wise as serpents and gentle as doves. You must take all those things into, but when you begin to mix religion with oil and water and things that don't mix and all of that. So I had all these grandiose ideas and all these, all these ideas of what things should be and all of that, which led to probably some more, the extension of the suffering that we suffered, as it were. So if I had to go back and do some of those things, life probably would have been easier. I'm wiser enough now to know where to, because life is not always black or white. Yeah. Contrary to what we're taught again, usually in the religious circles, life lives in a lot of the gray areas. So if I had to go back, yes, would have suffered a bit, but it would have been that period would have been greatly reduced. I know now, I didn't know then, which is why we probably need to suffer. So now that we're now doing a new thing, I can assure you that the next Segun Dangote I will call to come, he will not suffer with me. I mean, we'll suffer a bit.
Well, I was waiting for you to say that because you almost made it look like we didn't really suffer. We suffered.
We did, but we had great time. Again, it's that we didn't know it was suffering like that. I mean, we had some great times as well. I mean, we're on TV, we're doing MCing, we're making money. We had this society wedding that I had that was all over the place. I was living the high flying life, living in VIA and all of that. I mean, it was hustle, but again, this what look the Yoruba saying "Nigbara labura." Translation, there's a time and season for everything. You do these things when you are young men or when you are younger men. Well, not even younger, when you're young men, when you have the wherewithal in terms of not resources, but you have the wherewithal in terms of time to do them. So we did these things in our 20s, in our early 30s, before families came, so that we could make our mistakes and learn the lessons, so that now that we have dependents and we have responsibilities, we won't now start making these mistakes in our 40s and our mid-40s when we cannot afford to make them. So we made them when we could make them, and we learned the lessons we had to learn.
No regrets, though. No regrets, because I think all of those things have culminated to who we are today. And
absolutely.
I mean, look at us. Look at us. I mean,
look at you. Look at your suit. Look at the tie.
I had to try.
You're dressed even better than me. I mean, look at you.
I'll let the viewers be the judge of that. Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you.
You're going to send me a couple of these shirts. Because every time I find one of these ones with the pins, it's always too high or too low. The colors are never quite right. The color is not right. I mean, so you found this.
Well, I'll give you the backstory. I actually, you know what? Let's not talk about this. This can't be. This shirt is not what you think it is. That's all I can tell you.
Oh, it's creative. Okay.
I was just being creative.
It looks perfect.
Thank you, Pops. You do realize that it's been 20 years since I've known you. 20 years. I remember that first day that I saw you. Might not remember. It was between 4th and 5th service.
I was the one who saw you. You said you saw. Well, I don't know the day you saw me, but I know the day that I was the one who approached you.
Yeah, I remember shaking your hand, and you were kind enough to try to introduce yourself like you needed to. And you were like, my name is Teju Babyface. And in my mind, I'm like, duh. And the Wednesday before that Sunday was the first time that I had the opportunity to perform on
Yeah, you were performing on Daystar stage, and I just joined Daystar, and I saw you.
And it was your very first Wednesday service.
Yeah.
So the Wednesday that I got the opportunity to perform on that stage was the very first Wednesday service that you attended, which makes our meeting, that for me puts a seal on my belief that our meeting was absolutely providential.
It was fated. It was fated to happen. Yeah. Because when I started to attend Daystar, I had this. So back in those days, I was besotted with Sam Adeyemi.
Weren't we all?
Yeah, I was besotted with him because I didn't know that men of God, existed in that mold. I'd been around, growing up in the Baptist church, and all of that, and been to quite a few other places as well. So I was besotted with him. So I figured my thinking then was, regardless of whatever else I'd achieved outside, that the ultimate thing was to perform on the Daystar stage as a means to meeting him. I just didn't want to meet him. I knew that if I went to meet him, he knew who I was, of course. But for some reason, I just thought that wouldn't work. So I was thinking how I would get on that stage, and I had the plan, that I had put in motion. And then I came to church and I found a non-entity. I found this non-entity on stage, doing what I was dreaming of doing. So that really impressed me. And then you were funny and all of that. I got to meet this guy. And so that's when I approached you.
And then I remember you took me to your car because you wanted to give me your card. And I remember how I felt seeing people look at you, and by virtue of looking at you, they looked at the person standing next to you. And it just seemed like I was walking into destiny. Like, I'm walking. Yeah, it's me he's walking with. And then we got to your car, and that was the cleanest Honda Accord baby boy I've ever seen in my life. That spirit of excellence, how everything around you were looking very clean. You were looking all put together. Your car smelled good. Your card was, I'm like, what kind of card is this? So I guess my question here is, what were the things that shaped this you that has always been that person with a knack for excellence and just wanting to do things right?
Well, Ile Latin Kesh Orudi. Translation: charity begins at home. Where invariably the fruits of the homes we come from and all of that. So I happen to be, I had the privilege of being born into a well-to-do family. So that's how I was brought up. The expectations of me were not entertainment. So the expectations of me were success. However you want to put that, doctor, engineer, accountant, business. So those were the expectations. This was a boy who was sent to the best schools and all of that. As my comedy colleagues used to tease me all the time, I was the ajebota amongst them, the one who came from the home who didn't need to hustle and stress and all that. So that was there, I guess. I'd have to lay that at the feet of my parents as far as explaining that logically is concerned. But beyond that, it is that, all the things we say, there's a purpose to your life, you have a purpose and all of that. Yes, there's all of that. There's the prefabrication of your existence. So God says before, he says those whom he foreknew, he predestined, he called them. Of course, the hermeneutics of that verse, of that scripture is salvific in nature. It's not about destiny or purpose and all of that. It goes to the core of salvation. But we can borrow from it and say that if he foreknew you, for salvation purposes, then he foreknew you for your purpose and all that as well. So all this also come down to, the prefabrication of who you are, how God made you, what you were going to do, what you were going to fulfill, your purposes and all of that. So those are the two answers. It's both providential and family, home. The condition and the environment into which I was born, there is no part of me that can take any sort of credit for that. I am who I am. I am like this. I don't know why. I'm just who I am. That's it.
And I think it's always worked for you, because it was one of the major things that I learned from you. Sometimes,
which is strange, really, when you say that, because I'm not, we used to have a joke when we say somebody, so back in the days, we say somebody's not suitable, that a suit doesn't look good on them. They're not, they don't look good in a suit, so they are not suitable. My body shouldn't work for a suit. People for whom suits work should have long legs, long frame. I'm not the tallest guy in the world. I hate my parents for fostering that physical limitation on me, right?
Like, didn't you guys think this through?
I think this through. I had one of those famous jokes I still do it till tomorrow about that, right? So I'm not the most, suits are for people like you who if not the tallest people, have a certain silhouette.
Frame, yeah.
It's not me, but somehow it seems like I make it. I don't understand why it seems to work for me, but somehow it has worked.
Enjoy it.
Hey, my brother, what are we going to do?
So you've been married for 13 years, 14?
Yeah, 13 years and 4 months now. I count every day. I'm not unaware of how many days I've been married. 13 years, 4 months, about 24 hours and a couple of minutes.
Wow. And to the best of my knowledge, right, about you and your marriage, yeah, you've been decent, if I can use that word.
I've been faithful, I've been to my wife. I haven't stepped out.
How?
And given what you know.
Given what I know of you. I'm looking for the most polite word to describe the you that I used to know. Let
me say to you, my father said it. I know that my father said it. My father said to me one day when I was a single man, stop prostituting around.
Oh, you were a whore. I've been wanting to say that. You were literally a whore. Because there's some stories that you will share with me.
Not only my
about
father, my mom said to me one day. My mom said to me one day, I single man, she said, come here. So I just escorted another girl. My mom was in the kitchen. My mom said, come here. I knew you don't fair me. I knew you don't fair me. I pity the woman who is going to marry you. Fourth hand, fourth hand. She's going to marry a fourth hand. She's not even going to marry a tokumba. It's not going to be second hand. It's not going to be third hand. It's going to be fourth hand. What you would have used yourself. So yes, you have that from both my parents. My father called me prostitute. My mom called.
Because I met that, good looking, it's the gift of the gab, doing well career-wise. Ladies would definitely, want to flock around you. That was you then. This is you now. One would have thought that it would be a huge struggle to try to keep you together in marriage. How do you move from that man to this man?
Again, I don't think I can take credit. It's just the way I'm wired. And, I don't like people who sound religious. They say, is God. We know. Tell us what you think. God. But at the risk of that, I have to say it has to be something that predates my existence on this plane, because I cannot just always again I have to put it down to my parents and God, because as you see, so you do. My father was that guy. So in this excellence you're spoken about, it was Badegesho Oyelakin. In this being a man of your word, it was Badegesho Oyelakin. You had to be responsible. That was my father. Responsibility. You owe responsibility to those to whom you owe it. That's how I was brought up. You're responsible. You do the things you're supposed to do. You don't step aside. I saw that in my father. Right? So I just always kind of figured as a young man that once you are married, you are married. I always kind of knew that. In fact, I used to find it very strange. Anytime I saw any of my father's friends or my friends' fathers who had extramarital affairs, it used to seem to me like the strangest, most abnormal thing. It just always felt like an aberration. On the other hand, I looked at single young men who were not married, who were having fun as heroes. I saw them as heroes. So I had that dichotomy in my mind. If you are married, you are married. And therefore, you have to marry the most beautiful woman, at least as far as you were concerned. Yeah. And then if you're single, you're single. Somehow I just kind of understood that. And so again, is that thing that I said, there's a time there's a time and season for everything. In fact, King Solomon says in the book of Ecclesiastes that young man, pursue everything your eyes see to pursue. do the things of your heart. Follow the ways of your heart. Follow the ways of your eyes. Do whatever it is you want to do, but know that for all these things, God will bring you to judgment. Translation, even though you're single and you're doing all of these things, there's a price to pay. Right? So don't just think you're going to run the town. There are diseases out there. There are problems. There are unwanted pregnancies. It didn't say that much, but that's the general idea of that. So that's just how I saw it. I ran the town knowing fully well. I knew fully well that the moment I said I do, that was it. And it wasn't like I was trying to, again, having said that, you think that I was trying to be like, well, let me do as much as I can do, so that when I stop, that didn't occur to me. I just knew that once I said I do, then that was it. I wasn't. But before I do, I was gonna have all the fun that I wanted to have. So that was it. So I didn't have anybody to whom I made any vows. I didn't owe anybody anything. I was enjoying myself. And the moment I made the vows to the person, then we stopped. I made a vow. And then I also had a real fear of providence, a real fear of God. I feared God like that. I don't know. Again, I have to take it back to my father. This was a man who made sure that between my parents, my father and my mother, between Gbadi Geshe and Oluyemisi, and the other woman who raised me, my father's first wife, Ajike, between Gbadi Geshe and Ajike and Oluyemisi, we prayed every morning and every night in our house. I left home when I was in my late 20s, when I moved to Surulere and then Victoria Island. In 30 years, not one day did my father not show up for morning prayers or evening prayers. Listen to what I'm saying to you. We didn't show up sometimes. We fell sick. Not once in 30 years did my father, who would ring the bell for prayers morning and night, not once in 30 years did Teju Babyface Oyelakin not show up for prayers. The one who rang my father. And yet in those years he was sick. Sometimes he might have been depressed. He was a businessman who was doing heavy business. He was doing transporting. Right. Trailers. He was one of the first big haulers in Nigeria. And so drivers would drive the trailers and go have accidents and all of that. He was dealing with all of that. Not once in 30 years did my father say, I'm not feeling fine today. I'm not coming for prayers in the morning at night. He was there every day. I mean, when you do that for 30 years, there's a certain type of thing that goes into you. So again, to answer your question, I knew that the moment I made that vow in front of God and man, I'm not saying that I will now always be faithful or that I have some power, but I will try. But will it don't keep me saying only Lord Lazi in love as a conta. So I'm not saying that I've mastered it or anything. I'm just saying that I just knew that I had to try. And so that's it.
Wow. That's kind of deep.
And I feared God. Let me I fear God. So I feared God in a what's that word I'm looking for? In a visceral kind of way. I did my understanding of fear God for a long time was not fear God as respect. My understanding of fear God was fear God as in this guy can deal with you kind of thing. That's my understanding of fear God. That kept me faithful for a long time. I had to tell you that. And it's still that lets me know that it's the kind of thing that when you go and do this thing, there are consequences. A girl could get pregnant. So shortly before I got married, a girl with whom I was rolling around, a girl whom you know, a girl whom I met through you, by the way.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very beautiful, but vapid. Nothing up here. Very beautiful, but completely vapid. Yes. Just bereft of any sort of anything approaching intellect.
When you said, that there are a number of girls that you met through me.
Yeah.
All right. Some I was in a relationship with, some were just friends. So when you said one that you met through me, I was still trying to figure out which of them. You see, the moment you mentioned nothing up here, I just knew which one you're talking
very
about.
Very beautiful, very vapid. Nothing approaching intellect. So one day, she had come to see me and we had done our thing, right?
Yeah.
And then she calls me a couple of weeks later and she says, I missed my period. I'm pregnant. Now, I was the king of contraceptives back then. My friends knew. I used to buy them in bulk. Wholesaler. So I'm wondering how this could have happened. But I know enough to know that sometimes they say these things are supposed to be 99% effective. So
there's that 1%
maybe I was the unlucky 1%. And I wasn't married then. But I remember when she said that thing, I remember how my world came crashing down. I remember how the bottom fell out from under me and I felt my life is over. I am dead. At this point, I was 30-something. I was Teju Babyface. I was living in Victoria Island. I was living alone. I was doing well. I mean, if a 31-year-old man impregnates a girl and is doing well and he has money, what's the problem? And yet I felt like my life was over in that minute. I felt like my life had just taken, like the tangent of my life had just taken, it had just gone off on a thread from which I would never recover. Especially to have a kid with this girl.
It just reminds me of a joke we used to, an inside joke is how there's a way you can impregnate a girl that you know is the wrong one. Yeah. And you're just sitting and you're just like, hey! And they're like, what did you know?
That joke came, I didn't tell you the etymology and the origin of that joke. That's where that joke came from. It was this incident. It was the thought of having a baby with this girl. That, hey! You just be sitting down talking to your friends, you guys, and all of a sudden you just go, hey! Like what just the thought of. So my life, and in that moment, was another moment when I solidified and cemented why I would try my best possible not to step out on my wife. So can you imagine? Now, so you are wondering how that story ended.
Yeah.
So I handled it with equanimity. I was calm, because the part of my mind was like, this vapid creature might actually be pulling my legs. So I said, okay, I how far gone are you? When can we see? I guess I need to come and see your parents and all of that. Then she said, I just wanted to see how you will handle it. I'm joking. I was just joking. I wanted to see. That was the last day that I ever called her and she entered my house. That's the last day. But that moment, that episode cemented again in my head. Especially after I got married. What happens now when I have an affair and somebody gets pregnant?
Right.
I mean, how do you reconcile that now?
Right.
Especially as I always had, then again, there's always that I always have an impression, a big, I mean, I always have a core, there's a strong sense of destiny that I have about myself and where my career is going and what I will become and represent. I've always had that, even though it's always been an inchoate picture. I always had an idea of the kind of person I would represent. While not a perfect person, a person to whom others can look to be inspired, not because he's perfect or not because, but because he tries and he portrays a certain type of, again, responsibility. So I've always had that sense of calling, if you want to put it like that, on my life. So all these things together have shaped me into this person that seems to now be faithful to one woman, as it were. And it's not easy, but by the way, don't let me lie, it's not easy.
I know.
There are times when it is really tough. There are times when I coast for months.
I know.
It's not a problem. And there are times when the spirit descends. And everywhere you look is just a hot girl. Everywhere you're just looking is a hot girl. Like, no. Why did I ever get married? I want money.
He told me about just shortly after he got married, the incident at MC Abe's office.
I wept. I wept that day. I wept. I cried tears of agony. Agony. I wept. There was this girl. She was wearing the sheerest, flimsiest top. She was busty. And as she was talking to me, MC Abe and I and the other guy could see her nipples visibly harden.
Woo!
As she was talking to me. Oh my God, Teju Babyface. Oh my, and we could see her nipples in front of all. Ask MC Abe when you see him. I just been married for about a month. I had to call my wife and say, look, can we redate the certificate? Can we redate it to show that we married a month after? And I had to walk away from that. I wept in the car. My driver must have been asking, I wept it.
Yeah. So speaking of marriage, yeah, I remember that you had to wait for about 5-6 years before what we Christians like to call the fruit of the womb.
Yes,
came.
The fruits of the womb.
On our own end, we had to wait about a year or so. I know how tough it felt for us. and then to see other people with 2, 3, 4, 5, I think you were there like 5, 6 years.
Yes, she got pregnant in 5 years and just a little over 5 years.
So tell me about that period. What was it like? How did you hold up? And how did it feel like the day that you found out that she was pregnant?
So you know how they say success never feels like success? Say all this success that you want, it will never feel like that when you get there. Because when you get there, the success is going to have its own challenges as well. Every blessing has a problem. So let me start by saying that you'd have thought when she said I was pregnant, then you'll be happy. It's like, she's pregnant, I'm pregnant now. The next thing, as soon as you're happy, you're like, oh God, will the baby stay? So that is 9 months of hoping the baby will not stay. Because that is when all the stories in the universe about miscarriages will now start finding you. Before then, you had never heard a thing about miscarriages, or maybe not a lot. But all of a sudden, all the stories in the world about miscarriage, especially when we now confirmed that it was twins, and they said multiple birth miscarriages are higher. Then you now do the 9 months and the hell of that. And then after they had the baby, thank God, then you now hear of all the infant mortality deaths. How many babies die and don't make it. And so all of that. But the 5 years were tough, especially as my father died just 9 months before we got married. So it is that in Yoruba law and culture, when your parents die before you get married, then you deliver a child in the sex. You deliver a Babatunde in the case of your father, or a Yetunde in the case of your mother, or something. Or something. You deliver a child that comforts you. So that was around my idea. Again, the delusion and the entitlement and the immaturity and the naivety of the kind of person I used to be. I want a child who will comfort me of the tears of my father's passing. And then you get married after a year and you want babies immediately and nothing happens, right? But the most difficult part were all the well-wishers who were also counting the days for us. So they would call you and leave all these snide comments that were supposed to be encouraging. But were comments that actually went to injure you in your most vulnerable place. Especially when they call you on your birthday or on New Year's Day.
Babe, this year.
Gbogbo ẹ̀dùn ọkàn yín, gbogbo ìtẹ́ fẹ́ tọ́lọ́hun ò tí ì ṣe lọ́dún yìí lọ́mọ ṣe. All the things you want that God has not done, He's going to do it this year. And you know exactly to what they're referring.
Yeah.
And then every time you go to some naming or some christening and all of that, somehow the prayer eventually ends at your feet. Mommy, báwo ni? Báwo ni Teju? Ẹ kú oríire ọ̀rẹ́ tíyín náà dé. And if there's one thing that a champion doesn't want, champions loathe pity. I think everybody loathes pity anyway. Nobody wants to be pitied, right? Especially when you think you're a champion, none of us like to think people are pitying us, that we are the object of pity. Especially for me, who growing up, we used to pray for those people in those morning and evening prayers. I
remember my parents used to pray for you as well.
That kind of stuff. I didn't want to be. I used to see those people as victims. I'm not saying I was right in my view. I could be wrong. I mean, there's nothing wrong in people praying for you, right? But as a child, I used to see those people as the unfortunate people in life. I fẹ́ gbàdúrà fún ìdílé àwọn gọ̀m̀bọ̀ lálẹ́ yìí. Olúwa, gbogbo tó ń ṣe wọ́n, àìsàn wọn, da òróró síbi tó ti ń ṣe wọ́n. Because I used to think of them as the... I've now become that object of pity and prayers now. People will now be looking at you. So it used to bother me. Apart from that, I was good. You know. And it was weird again. Because it was like history repeating itself. So I just mentioned 2 mothers that I had. So my father was married to 2 women. My father's first wife, when he married her, so she didn't have kids. And then he had to marry my mom, who now had kids. But it was that woman who raised me, Ajike. Ajike was my mom. She raised us. That's for the longest time in my life. I didn't even know who my mom was. So it was strange that shortly before my father died. So this all the things that were paining me when my father died. My father called me shortly before he died, and he said, this girl that you're dating, don't impregnate her. He said, because that's what people do now. They impregnate the women to whom they are going to be married. They impregnate them to confirm that they can have kids. He said, don't do that. He said, trust God. He now said, that is strange coming from me, right? If anybody should be telling you, shouldn't be I, your father, who struggled to have kids and then had to marry another woman. He said, but I am telling you that don't do it. I mean, I wasn't ever going to do it anyways, really. But he now died before the wedding. I now got married. And the same thing that happened to him was now happening to me. And he had now said I shouldn't do it. And so here's the strangeness of the world. The one person in the world who was in my shoes, who had been in my shoes, who was my blood and flesh, who could tell me exactly what to do, was the person who had gone 9 months before I got married. What's going on here? So, there were the tough times. But then I'd play all those songs, because I have all the songs. So I play them in the car as prayers. You know, this is where my weird sense of theology and God comes from. So I'd play Ago Maronu Mombo, Sashino Peters. Oluwa to da sera lohun yo baba da e lohun. Ojú ló ń kọ́ ẹni tí ò bímọ gbogbo ala máa bí. Yàrá bí ò ṣe bí o, ire ló ń ṣe. Ago Maronu Mombo. I'd play that for me, never for my wife. I'd play Ọmọ tuntun ṣá máa wọlé máa rọra Ebenezer Obey Koko ṣá máa wọlé máa rọra ọmọ tuntun àlejò ayé ọmọ tuntun máa. I would play Sonny Ayọ̀ ọ̀run sọ̀kalẹ̀ wá Olúwa ó ṣe. I'd play all of that and be happy and just have fun. And then it happened. And two for the price of one. I was so glad and I thought I was done.
Well,
and then my wife came one day 5 years later. Which kind of Akoba is this? This is where God is weird. We were praying for kids for 5 years. We prayed. You didn't give us. You now gave us to a boy and a girl. Thank you. We're done. We're done. Shut the door. You are now bringing extras 5 years down the line. Come on, man. So that's how these things go.
Wow. I'm glad we're able to talk about that. All of us were just hoping and praying and wishing that it would happen. The day I heard about it, of course, I saw it on social media, but I didn't care. I was elated. I was just, it felt like it just happened.
Yeah, I know that.
For me, which just means that, look, if it's meant to happen, it's just a matter of time, you know.
By the way, I've since wanted to give those twins back. Many times. I've since wanted to return them. I've since wanted, they are wahala. I've since wanted to give them back. Just kidding.
I love them. Kids. Wonderful kids. There's no way you and I can have a chat without talking fashion, yeah? Because, again, one of the things that I learned from you was a sense of style. In fact, one of the things that saved me at difficult times, let me explain difficult times. I think Alibaba did this to you. How Alibaba would take more than one event per day. And then, because he's running late at the other event, he would send you, he would send either Basket Mouth or all of these guys. And I think when it was your turn, some of the things that you suffered, you thought, hey, I know where you are so fast. and you would send me to these places. In fact, my very first wedding at Muson Center, and a cool hotel, everybody knows, look, Muson Center was the place. If you got an event and it was at Muson Center.
It was Papi's wedding, Papi Awushika.
Oh, you remember?
Oh, I remember.
And the one my first event at a hotel as well, you sent me there. I wasn't on TV then. You would send me there and I would go introduce myself and say, Teju Babyface sent me and blah, 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 blah. And I would see the disappointment, sometimes anger on their faces. Who are you? who the hell are you? And then sometimes they would threaten that they were going to arrest you and arrest me. And in my mind, I'm like, you did not pay me. That is the person. But somehow I knew that underneath the anger, right, they would still look at me and say, hey, he didn't send a riffraff, because I would dress up. I would speak well. I would present myself in a very, very,
Did I not
impressive
pick you
manner.
Up with my power bike at one of those events from Victoria Garden City? There was one day in Lagos, man, I was something. Oh, man, those were the days.
Did you know that all the cash that I had in my jacket?
It flew out. So I had 3 events. I had one in Apapa, I had one in Nicole Hotel, and I had one in Victoria Garden City one Saturday.
I remember.
So it was my power bike I used. She shuttle between Apapa, Victoria Land, and Victoria Garden City. So when we finished the Victoria Garden City event, which was the last one in the night, I now wanted to drop. I dropped you at Jibo.
Yeah.
on the back of a power bike.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything could have happened then.
Oh,
And my parents, every time I told my parents I was with you, in their minds, I was in safe hands.
you were a power bike. I was probably doing what 120, 140 kilometers on Third Mainland Bridge.
So the point is, some of these times it's my appearance that would at least save the day, and they'll say, okay, I mean, do we have a choice? You're here, you may as well just go and start the event. And I mean, somehow we never got into trouble. How important was it for you that you had to always appear prim and proper and dapper at events?
Well, you know, the people always say you dress as you like to be addressed and all that. I've never had any of that. Me, I just like clothes. I just always liked clothes. You know this about me. There's a pastor, a popular pastor in Nigeria. I used to send you to go and buy his DVDs. Yeah. Not so much because of his message.
Yeah.
But because of the way he used to dress.
That guy cacks.
Well, maybe not so much anymore.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean,
yeah, I mean, we all have that.
Everybody has tried to tone it down.
I mean, that season right now too. You know, when he was in that thing where he was doing his whole haberdasher thing, when he was doing that whole thing, I sent you to get his DVDs. I wanted to see how he was dressed, and every time he was dressed, I wouldn't watch that message. I didn't care how good that message was. I wouldn't watch it. I'll struggle through the message. You know, so it's just I just liked to. It's one of the things. Like I said, I can't claim credit for it. It's the way I was prefabricated before being, before being born through my mother's matrix, as it were. So I just like clothes. I like all kinds of clothes. I cannot limit myself to a particular thing. I just like to look nice. It's my thing. I like it. So going to those events, which was probably why that type of job and vocation attracted me in the first place. The ability to stand up. So the fault line, so to speak, the common denominator in my call is expression, presentation, dignity and responsibility. I'm called to speak or express myself while presenting myself very well and holding up a certain standard of responsibility and dignity. That's, if I had to put it in a nutshell, that's it. So that's why those things probably they attracted me, but they were never enough because they've never been the thing. I've been all the way in my career all the way coming nearer and nearer to the thing, but they were the things that attracted me. The ability, the opportunity to be able to stand. Not opportunity, we're in America. The opportunity. The opportunity. Yeah, the opportunity to be able to stand and look nice and talk and hold people. It's just always been. And then the added, the bonus of that is that they now get to respect you for how you look. It's just a bonus. But by myself, I mean, I'd look. There were times in my life where I was really into the suits thing. That Teju Babyface Show era, that man, I'd probably have worn suits to sleep. If I'd been given a chance, I'd have probably gone to sleep in my suit. Yeah.
So how would you describe your style fashion-wise?
I don't try too hard is where I am at right now. So if you remember, there was a time when I had pockets.
Oh man, like
I had pocket chains going on. If you go and see my wedding picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in fact, this for me is functional. I put this because this is actually a handkerchief, truly.
Yeah.
And I thought I might need to maybe wipe oil. Yeah. Or I say oil. Just wipe oil. To wipe oil. I might need to wipe oil from my, this. Apart from this, I wasn't even going to use this. I was just going to. So I do minimalistic these days. You can't be trying too hard. I'm not really buy quality. These shoes.
Yeah,
I bought these shoes during the Teju Babyface Show of those how many years ago you're talking about?
Yeah,
I've had these shoes now for 14 years. If these shoes had to walk on their own, I promise you they walk from here to Lagos. The amount of events that these shoes have attended, this pair of shoes, same shoes. I've had this suit now for a while, So that's it for me. Easy. I just like to look nice. I definitely don't do logos. You won't see me now. Catch me now in a Gucci jacket and all of that. No. So I think if you had to define my style, I would be the person who the man after my heart as far as style is concerned is Ralph Lauren. Ralph Lauren. Remember when people try to feel cool in Nigeria, they say Ralph Lauren.
Ralph Lauren.
I say Ralph Lauren. Ralph Lauren Paris.
Isn't Isn't that the right pronunciation, though?
His name is Ralph Lauren. It's not Ralph Lauren. Are you French?
It's not the French. Oh,
he's American. His name is Ralph Lauren.
Oh.
It's when we try to put, you know how we do Nigerians, our own too much Ralph Lauren. Taylor Laurent. Ralph Lauren. It's Ralph Lauren. So he's the man who, because Ralph Lauren is like that. I like his ethos. It's very old money. They call it the preppy look. They call it the preppy look, that old English style. He practically invented it, that preppy look. So he has the purple label, the Ralph Lauren purple label, the most expensive suits, which is this. So you see him dressing this. But then you also see him do that American thing where it is jeans and, well-worn leather jackets and all of that. So I'm a blend of that. I'm Ralph Lauren in that. That's my style ethos. I'm not quite Tom Ford. I buy into Tom Ford with the suits. Tom did monochrome, or at least two colors. It was black and white, black and white, and all of that. Yeah, I like that too for when it's appropriate. But I'm more that guy. I'm less the flashy type of person. Right. Again, dignity. Remember, dignity, responsibility. We're doing all of this to a certain end. So that's it.
Nice. Any pet peeves? Like, what are the things that you can't stand when you see people dress up? Like, every time you see it, you're like, these people should be arrested.
I used to have
Top three.
I used to have quite a few of those. Not so much anymore. I'm a bit more accommodating of how people want to dress now. But I saw one. I actually told the guy this one many years ago, but I've learned to keep my opinions to myself because the guy I told looked at me as if I was out of my mind, and he didn't do it. And the last time I saw somebody do it, I just kept my own counsel to myself. You see that label that is on the sleeve of a suit?
Oh.
When you buy a suit, that label that is on the outside, please remove it. Don't wear it with the suit. That label that comes on the sleeve of the... When you buy a suit,
people have heard now.
that label, please don't...
If you wouldn't listen to me...
RMD was the one who told me this many years ago. I don't know, but I have to take his word for it. It must be true. RMD says that those labels are for suit warehouses where there are many suits of the same type. So this type of suit now will come in many sizes.
Right.
40, 42, 44, 46, 48, 50, and all of that. So they put the sleeves on the hand so that when they're trying to get a particular size, they can see the size and just pick it out. That's why
for identification purposes.
Yeah, for identification purposes. They don't put it there for you to wear and show people. So that's the one that comes to the top of my head. Apart from that, minimalist is always better. Don't overdo it.
Less is...
don't overdo it. I also don't... I see people now wearing native and canvas. Native and canvas. Native and trainers.
Even with Agbada?
Yeah, Agbada, they wear native and they wear canvas. I don't call them trainers. Canvas is what we used to call them, canvas. You wear native and trainers. I can understand if you're an older person. I can understand if you're an octogenarian, you are older. I can understand that for comfort. You've been there, you've done that.
Yeah.
You have nothing to prove anymore, but your feet hurt now.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, these shoes are not as comfortable as they used to be. These shoes have gotten more uncomfortable as the years. So I can get that. If you're an older citizen and you need comfort, I mean, nobody should be forcing you. You've been there, you've done that, you've paid the dues here. But shouldn't be a young man wearing native Agbada and then wearing canvas. That really gets on my nerves.
Just an aberration.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Then I think that's the extent of it, really. Nothing else comes to mind, really.
Okay, so Gen Zs these days, I think we've gone back to the humongous pants where we hardly see your shoes. You buy that?
I have no problems with that. I like some of those things. I would wear some of those. I mean, I won't do the ridiculous ones. We used to call them keep Lagos clean. When I was
just sweeps everywhere.
Keep Lagos clean. Just sweep me everywhere. I wouldn't do that. But I like some of those flared.
Yeah.
I made these pants almost like that in a certain way. They're a bit flared. They're not as they're nowhere near as tailored as.
Yeah. I mean, when you walked in, I mean, it seemed more classic.
But I like some of those things. I like them. I had a girl who I was dating who used to like me to be. She didn't mind it, but she thought my best look was my casual look, the jeans and the baseball cap and and all that. She really liked that look about me, and I like it too. Yeah, so I really don't mind what they're doing now with clothes.
Cool. So you're closer to 50 now than you are to 40.
Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, I had to do that.
Thank you.
How does it feel?
it feels surreal. It feels like I've lived several lifetimes in this one. Because when you were describing me now, and it seems like that person was a lifetime ago. And I say this mindful of the fact that I'm on the cusp, I'm on the very precipice of entering another season now. The person who I think I'm going to become now is going to be different from. So let me put that in, let me make that practical. This Teju of Diamond Ring, I'm that guy in the Diamond Ring movie. That seems like some incarnation of me ago. I am this Teju the comedian. That seemed like some other incarnation of me ago. I am this Teju of the Teju Babyface Show. That seemed like some incarnation of me ago. Now I'm becoming this Teju who is this thought leader person who is... So this seems to be another incarnation. So it seems I've lived several lifetimes in 50. And I'm mindful that if I have the grace, if I'm given the grace, which I hope I'll be given, and I know people say this a lot, but I truly believe it, that some of the best years of my life are just about to happen. So all those things I told you that I didn't know, I was naive, I was entitled, I was, delusional and all of that. All those lessons are now coming to a head now in this new phase that I'm about to enter. Right? So I wear this, my approaching age, with a lot of pride. I'm also very mindful of time. I'm very sentimental. I don't know where I got this from, but I shed tears at the drop of a hat. It didn't used to be like that until my father died. Until my father died, you could be slaughtering a person in front of me.
A hard guy.
And I've never liked violence. But I would say, Koda. It's not good.
And that's it.
But I won't be shedding tears. Now, knock him out. I'm like, why? Ever since my father died, the waterworks just opened, the dam just opened, right? So I'm very sentimental about time. I picked up a book today. In fact, it's in this bag, literally. It's in this bag. And I flipped it and I saw the date that I bought it. And I'm almost shedding tears again because that was almost 20 years ago. And I remember where I was in my life then. I'm like, this was 20 years ago. 20 years? Where have 20 years gone? So I'm very sentimental about time, but I'm also thankful because I've not been playing around. I now am more aware of just how much work I've been given the privilege and the opportunity to have been able to do. With all due respect, I have been an enduring brand. I must have really gotten something right quite by omission, not commission. Because through the vagaries and the vacillations and the vicissitudes of life through which I've been in the past couple of years, somehow I have survived. Teju Babyface has not died. It reminds me of the Yoruba song. As someone was saying recently that our mindset, that our theology of gratitude to God is misplaced. But it reminds me of that song anyway. Do you want to cool? And I don't mean that to mock anybody, but I'm saying career-wise, people don't go through some of the things I've been through and then we never hear of them again. But here I am. So it is that, yes, I'm approaching 50, but I'm excited. I'm grateful. All I just want is health. I want health. Because you all say I look baby face, but my body is not getting that message. I might look it, but my body is reminding me. If they are calling you baby face, will you also buy into that law and that fantasy as well?
Wow, amazing. Pops, thank you very much for coming. There's so much to talk about.
I know.
We have not even delved into half of it.
I was thinking that I hope Segun is not going to, in this one episode, want to talk about everything.
No. I mean, there's just too much.
So you bought me. There are two perfumes that I essentially wear, and you bought me one of them. I was shocked because it's quite expensive. I wasn't expecting it, and it was my last birthday where I didn't. For once last year, I didn't celebrate myself on social media. I didn't say as we usually do. It's my day. I just kept quiet and I didn't tell anybody. And then we're talking in passing, and I mentioned my perfume. And you sent it. I was shocked. It's very expensive. Cost you what, almost $500? So of course,
it's an honor.
If you call us, we'll show up now.
It's an honor. Thank you very much.
By the way, let me say this. One of those people with whom you worked on Teju Babyface Show, one of those other boys who was under me.
Yeah.
Do you know he's been sending me messages? He sent two. He sent one out of the blues 2 years ago, accusing me of tribalism and how I never gave him the opportunity, and how I was tribalist on the show and how I never really liked him. And so I let that one slide. I just said to him that it's nice to know where your mind is at. Is that what you think was happening? but I let that slide. And then about a couple of weeks ago, he sent another one. He wants to, just the way you unburdened your heart for gratitude now.
Yeah.
He unburdened his heart for, what's that word in English? It fails me now. He unburdened his heart for grudge. For a grudge. It was the Yoruba term that came to my mind. Ontakangbon. How he needs to say that I didn't give him opportunities on the show. I never helped him. I never really introduced him to anybody. I never really did that. And you know this person. So he said all of that. And then I gave him word.
I can't use that word.
The first time I let him go with it, but he wasn't learning. So mokofu. This misplaced, misguided sense of entitlement. This guy was literally the only guy who used to show on the camera on the show outside of you. He was the only one to whom I would refer every other show. They knew him on the show. And he did nothing with that. And I bring that up to say that, look, I do not take your sense of gratitude. I do not take your sense of occasion. And I do not take your sense of awareness for granted. And I thank you for thanking me and for having me as well.
Thank you, Pops.
Yes.
Thank you. I hope that you will come again when I
hope
ask
so.
again.
I hope so too.
Eshun.
Just send another perfume.
Oh, small thing.
Go with that.
Guys, thank you for tuning in. It's been an absolute joy and honor having Mr. Teju Babyface, my mentor, big brother, and confidant on POV with S-DEE. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again on the next episode. Have a good one. Bye.